people on the call, then Joseph and I might just start doing some work, which is sometimes what we end up doing, which is pretty reasonable. I think it's a good way for everybody to see what's how the project has been progressing. So welcome everyone. Last final day of the hackathon. You've got till midnight tonight UK time to submit. If I'm going to very quickly, for those of you who need it, I'm going to talk a little bit about the submissions process. I'll talk a little bit about the judging process, and I'll talk a little bit about the award ceremony, because I think we're getting to that point now where you want to know like how you're going to know whether you've won and how will that work out. So if you go to the main hack page and go to the wiki, you'll see the submit your solution. If you haven't already done so, this is what you should be. This is all the instructions to submit your solution. I have a video of myself here, kind of guiding people through the process. If you, what we're asking people to do is prepare a video submission. Video should be no more than 3 minutes long, and really spend the video talking about your solution, and the actual demoing your solution. Try not to make your video just a pitch for a generalized pitch. This will be, we want to see what you've actually built. Please use this template as the template for it. So you kind of replace all the information with what information you have and delete the category, or only keep the slide which makes sense for what you're submitting, and then do the demo, and then finish the video. So that's going to help a lot with the judges. Anything you do to make judges' lives easier is going to be your friend. Do not make judges' lives harder. It just won't work. Upload it to wherever you want. It can be YouTube or wherever you want it to YouTube, wherever you want to put it. But most importantly, you have to add the link to your submission. And again, what you need to do is you need to update your original GitHub issue with these headings. Okay, these headings. I forgot to, so just make sure, and I'll talk about judging criteria in a second. Make sure you update the judging criteria with the information for your particular prize category, but we're looking for headings along these criteria. There's an example project here, but you know what? Some people have just said that they've submitted. So let's find one that's submitted. We've got a couple here that are submitted. Let's click on this one. Oh, Wilco, you said you submitted, didn't you? I might check yours out. So this was Stephanie's first. This was the one that they issue they submitted. They've kind of replaced it. You can replace it, or you can just append it to the bottom of the main body of the issue there. So the summary, the problems, the application, which prize category are you going for? The judging criteria. So this is where you put the information which justifies why you should win this particular prize category. Your video, any of the artifacts that's going to be very useful for us to see, any of the information about how to use the product, the process, your inspiration, your challenges. Some of this stuff can actually just be helpful when the judges are just reviewing it. Because one of the criteria is overall impact. So they're going to like read all of this and go, oh, this is giving me a really good impression that there's been a lot of really interesting challenges, really interesting accomplishments, really interesting learnings. So that also might help and be help the judges to judge your product well. Also, what next? This is also something that we're particularly interested in. Where do you want to see, what do you want to see next in your project? There's no point. Hackathons for good, where there's no kind of what next and the solutions just end, is not what we're all about. What we're all about is building this impact framework community. So we want to work with each of you with the what's next, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on. So that's how you flesh out. So your issue, the issue that you submitted for your hackathon idea, is the issue for your solution, to submit your solution. And the final step is to actually, once you're ready, kind of have everybody in your team submit this form, which should appear here. Here we go. So it will submit this form, put your issue URL, your username. If you are the project lead, it helps people out if you just tick this box, just so that we know that you are the project lead, and the project lead is whoever submitted that issue in the first place. And just, this is ticked because I picked it previously. But if you're going for one of the, tell us which prize you're going for, and you could have changed. It doesn't matter. You could have changed from when you started. As long as when you finally submit, you choose the right category, because that's the one you'll be submitting for. You can only pick one. There are these accessory prizes for under 18s and undergraduates, and if you meet the criteria for one or both, gonna tick them, and there'll be an accessory prize just for those people. And then please hit confirm and then submit. Have everybody in your team submit, and then that's the submission. But then you're in, then you're safe. Then somebody is then going to kind of look at it, and they'll just give a once over. They'll look at your submission. They'll let you know if anything's kind of missing or if something isn't quite right that's needed for the judging, and they'll let you know. And if everything's okay, then we'll mark it with a submitted label at the top, and then we know everything's good to go. And that project's ready for judging. There'll be a couple of levels of judging. Oh, I forgot to mention, just double, triple check your prize category that you're going for. You can see here there's judging criteria. So when you type in the judging criteria, make sure you're speaking to these issues, because this is how the judges will be judging you. So make sure you're speaking to these particular issues. And remember, for each prize category, the issues are criteria are a little bit different. So make sure you're speaking to each of them and kind of making your pitch. Why do you believe that you have met this criteria? Again, make the lives of judges as easy as possible. That can only help you in the judging process. The actual judging process will be, what have we said? Yeah, so it does definitely look like we have enough submissions to have a pre-judging phase. We're going to do a pre-judging phase, and then the actual shortlisted set of I'm losing all my words today. So I was talking earlier on about how my mind's working so fast, and I'm just like but now I can't even think of a word. Solutions will be sent to our judges here. These are the judges from our sponsoring organizations. You might notice there are kind of more than 8, but we've allowed some organizations to have 2 judges, but that organization's points will they don't have more points to offer. We'll just be taking the average of those judges, because it depends on availability and things like that. And there's a lot of submissions. There's a lot of work for the judges to do to judge. This will go to the judges, and then we'll know. But when will you know? When will you know whether you've won or not, or where it'll be? There is an award ceremony which we're running next week on the 18th. You will be sent, if you're nominated, you'll be sent a special link to join, a special a green room, let's say, a virtual green room. And then on the day at that moment, please try and make sure a representative from your team will be attending that meeting if you can. If you can't attend the meeting, don't worry. We're still going to anyone. You'll still get the prize. Don't worry about it. But if you can have somebody join that green room and join that award ceremony, it'll be great, because as soon as we announce the winner, we're going to invite you on for a minute just to talk a little bit about your solution, your experience. But that will be the moment. No one's going to be told beforehand whether they've won. Everybody will find out at the award ceremony. So please, if you can, once you register and everything, you'll be sent links to the award ceremony, and you'll be invited to the award ceremony. It's a virtual event. Oh, it's the first GSF Netherlands first meetup. Oh, okay, wonderful. So our award ceremony is the same day as the first GSF Netherlands meetup. So absolutely wonderful. Maybe you could announce I think it'd probably after, wouldn't it? Probably be after because I think our award ceremony is earlier on in the day. Yes, so wonderful. So yeah, good luck, Wilco. So yeah, so that's what's going to be happening. So we're really excited. One of the reasons we really want to see everybody's wonderful reactions, on the screen as soon as you find out you won. Yeah. So that's how you will find out if you've won. Yeah, and then there'll be a lot of information we'll be passing if you have won. There'll be a lot of information passing you later on about how to get access to your funds and your and the prize money. So that will all come like after. Yeah, so announcements we made live on the I've done the submissions process. I've talked about the awards ceremony process. Um, very quickly, like what's next? Like, you know, the hackathon's coming to a close, but what's next? What's after all of this wonderful stuff? We're just going to be spending so much time and there've been such amazing insights. Even just chatting to you on these calls and like understanding how you're thinking about impact framework. We've got a lot of learning to do. We want to like examine like everything that you've submitted. This isn't going to go away. We're going to look at absolutely everything. And what we'd love to do with you is work with you post hackathon um, to talk about if uh, how to like if you built let's say you built something which enhances the tool itself, how do we upstream that? One of the things we've been asking you for the duration of the hackathon is just fork everything and submit everything on your repos. But then afterwards, we would like to kind of take the best learnings and kind of see if we can submit it all in. There's many people building the same functionality, so there will be merging. There will be lots of like mergings and making certain decisions about what we obviously can't accept everything in, especially if there's conflicting changes. But we will want to work with each of you to figure this out. We will be launching a plugins and right now plugins and manifest registry, which is going to be a place where you can publish your plugins and when people use Impact Framework, they can go to the plugins registry, just as, you know, like a Chrome web store for the plugins for Chrome. You might have like a plugins registry where you're using Impact Framework. Let me find out what's the I want to look for this. What's the best type of plugin that I can find which sorts, you know, which deals with this. We're building a plugins and manifest registry. So for the plugins, we're building a plugins registry. For the people who are working to build like case studies and other things like that, we're building a manifest registry. There should just be a place you could go to say, well, here's a sample manifest file for like measuring an AI LLM. There's a manifest registry. So even if you're just creating content, there'll be a place for you to submit these things there. And Wilco just asked, sometimes get production ready. Yeah, that's one of the things we're thinking through. What should be what should we ask from you to make your plugin ready for the plugin registry? Obviously there'll be certain bar of standard and quality that we need to make sure you hit so that, you know, people get the right impression. But yeah, so we'll be working with it. Honestly, the conversation is not going to end. We're going to basically keep on chatting to you and talk through how can we like upstream your work? How can we productionize it? How can we help you and support you and taking it further? If you won or didn't win, it doesn't really matter to us. It matters. Every single solution here that's been proposed has just been amazing. We want to see them all turned into something which other people can then use later on down the line. But that's the best prize, isn't it? When people use your software to actually make the world a better place. Yeah, plugins and manifest registry. So so the term I use for everybody who is engaging with the impact framework, um, who's creating plugins, who's writing manifest files, the term I use is actually I call all of you watchers. Um, because that's, I think, a beautiful term for what our community is and what we do. We take observations, we observe things, and we take those observations and we turn them into impacts. We're watchers. We're watching the world. We're watching our software. Beautiful thing about Impact Framework is you can use it to measure software that isn't yours. You can watch other people. The Overwatch, perhaps not so 1984, but more people focused, more open, more distributed. We should all just be able to just watch, observe something and see the impacts and just talk openly about them. So that is kind of what that is a term I use for all of us really. We're watchers. And we want to grow and create a community for all of us watchers to talk afterwards. As I said, this is very important what we do. If we can measure something with impact framework, that's the first step, the very first step to watching that ecosystem, that domain decarbonize and have less and less impact. It's all about measuring. So we want to create a community of watchers. There'll be a channel for you to communicate with each other on. Will probably just be an email, like a Google group, an email list for now, and we'll all join on that email list. We have lots of strange rules in the found, not strange rules, very important rules in the foundation for communications and IP and other things. So we're just like figuring out what that looks like. But a public email list where all the messages are public is a pretty safe place for us to live with all of our foundation rules. So we're going to be creating one of them, and we're going to invite you all to join, communicate with this other chat, and just like tell us, what do you need? What do you need to kind of help grow this space? What do you need? One of the things we say in the foundation is we want to build the next we're building the next generation of leaders in the green software space. So we want you all to become leaders. And you know, the time and time again, I've seen people in the foundation start off building like a small tool, and then years later they're keynoting at conferences and they're writing books, and they're really driving the space forward. So one of the things we want to do is kind of help you all to grow into to the next generation of green software leader. Um, yeah, yeah, we have like, so Wilk has asked the question. Yeah, we have, so I'll explain what the foundation rules are. We have like really strict rules regarding membership. When you join, you're actually signing very specific agreements that you're willing to give. If you're even having a conversation in a meeting and you express an idea, that idea has to be is public. It's a public IP. You're giving it royalty free, and that's a challenge for a lot of organizations to sign up to that, because it's obviously if an organization, if one of their employees says something which is a patentable thing, like our agreement says, if you mention it or you get it included into some of our work, you're agreeing to make that work royalty free, available to everybody. So that's a very important part of how we work, and it's the only way you can actually create work which can I know so much about IP law, it's unreal now, but that's the only way you can really get anything that you do to be taken on from a regulatory perspective. And that's one of our real powers, is the work that we do, because we have these really strict laws and rules around who's participating, have they signed agreements. It means that, for instance, our SCI standard, which has just become an ISO standard, there's a defensible chance that that could actually become a regulatory, like a government could say you have to have an SCI score of less than X. That there is actually a chance of that standard meeting that bar because of all of our rules. So we have all these rules, but those rules again make it hard to have kind of these more public debates and conversations. But we're working through around that to create this kind of community. But it's just want you to understand that that's kind of, there's a lot of questions people have about why you so closed, and that's the reason we have these kind of careful rules. But anyway, so we're going to create this community. And we'll love, again, we'll start with an email list. Let us know what you need. What support do you have? Do you want to speak at a conference about impact framework? Let us know how we can help you. Like things like that. Like we want to help and support you and grow this community of people and just really help each other. Yeah, absolutely. We have a designer, and she designs all of our decks. So one of the things I'm thinking of is somehow but kind of making that available to others. Darius asked the question, is it possible to edit the text of the submission before midnight today? Absolutely. Absolutely. Please edit the text before midnight tonight. And then, yeah, we'll be collating everything very first thing tomorrow morning. And then from that point forward, it'll just be uneditable. So yeah, please edit it until midnight tonight. That's absolutely fine. So some Darius is going to have some coffee and some late night work there for for you to tweak the submission. Strongly again recommend again just to look at the prizes again and very carefully craft your response to I would actually just create subheadings of these criteria, especially these last two. Overall impact is basically going to be judged from the full body of your text, but these other two things will be judged from more specifically. So just really make a subheadings for those in the judging criteria and help us, help the judges. Can't think of anything else, Joseph. Anything else you can think of? No? Oh,
Um,
go on.
no, go ahead. I was going to say not really, but if you've got if you've got
I
something.
was gonna say that the thing that we just want to make sure everybody like please don't and I've kind of hopefully we've communicated this effectively now. I don't know if anybody is trying to submit some pull requests, or there might be the odd one or two. No, please don't submit your solutions as pull requests to the IF plugins and IF unofficial plugins. Please just fork everything yourself, and then we'll work with you afterwards to see if any of this stuff and how we would kind of merge it all in. Because as you can imagine, multiple people are creating similar plugins, and we have to do some work to merge it all together. And a lot of this stuff is actually going to go away eventually, but at least the unofficial plugins is going to go away for sure. So that's it. I don't know what any other questions from anybody? Because if not, we will probably just leave you all alone to carry on hacking. Yeah, because it's been 65 solutions have been proposed, so we are extremely excited to see. So when is the next big GSF conference online webinar kind of thing? So the next one, in terms of GSF conference, is going to be we have one at the every year called Decarb and that's going to be at the end of the year. I don't think we've set a date particularly just yet, but we normally have it now before COP, like definitely a couple of weeks before whenever COP is, because what we like to do is we like to kind of tell the world what we think they should be discussing at COP, kind of what the green software viewpoint is. So that'll be something coming on at the end of this year. Last year we had our first time we did decarb. It was just us talking to you about what we've done. Last time we had speakers on, and I think this year we'll do it again, and we'll hopefully have a lot more people talk, with talks that they want to give and the like. But yeah, we only do like an online conference, and it's the end of the year called Decarb. There is certain things that we're roughly talking about right now. The one project I'm thinking about, which I'd love to run prior to that, it's not going to be a conference or anything, but it's how do you use the SCI and impact framework to measure open source software. A big push I'm going to have, and we'll work with Joseph, and we're just going to really try and push to get as many open source projects measuring themselves using impact framework and the SCI protocol by the end of this year. If we want to get closed source solutions to start measuring themselves, I think a good starting point is to get the open source world to start measuring itself, and then that can be a driver to drive incentivization to have, if the open source solution is measuring a carbon impact, why isn't the competitor's closed source solution doing it as well? So we're going to try and drive a lot of this stuff through the open source ecosystem. Hopefully some of your plugins will be some of the ones that will be used to kind of help drive that day. I'm currently calling it Sci-Fi Day, which I'm kind of forcing through right now just because I've always wanted to call something sci-fi. So now there's finally a chance because we have the software carbon intensity, and then impact framework is if, but Sci-If Day doesn't sound very good, but Sci-Fi Day sounds very good. So so that might be something coming up, which again we'll work with. We'll let you all know. You're going to be part of the Watcher community, so we'll let you all know and see if you want to partake in that. That'd be like a day. There'll be some date the plan right now is to have some sort of day at the middle of this year or bit second half of this year, where we say, here's a bunch of tooling, click this button, add this manifest file to your repo, and boom, you'll have measured your open source emissions. And we're going to try and do all that have a day called Sci-Fi Day, where we try and get as many open source projects to measure themselves. Because again, we're just about, we need to change the culture of the world. We need to change people's attitude. We need to normalize the whole idea of measuring. Because if we normalize it, then we'll be doing this thing. Everybody will just start doing this for all their internal solutions, all their closed source SaaS products. Everything will start driving that way. That's the strategy, at least. That's the thinking. And again, if anybody's got any other ideas in the Watcher community, you can reach out to us and we'll talk about it. But yeah, no other questions, it sounds like. So I think we'll leave it there. Good luck, everybody. We're really excited. We'll see you all at the awards ceremony next week. It's going to be a very exciting time. And good luck. And if you've got any questions, fire away. You should all have all of our email addresses anyway by now, because we've been contacting you one-on-one. So yeah, feel free to reach out with any questions. Catch you later. Bye-bye.